Yesterday was the first day I was back in Florida to observe Randy, to observe you guys. And I sent him a text afterwards. I said, you're better. You're better now than you were. And I think that's a huge credit to him. I think that's ultimately what we're always looking for, people to evolve and people to grow. And Randy and I get along great. We get along great because we challenge assumptions. We challenge each other. And one of the things that I want to do today is, I know we saw David Goggins yesterday. And if I'm being totally honest with you, I was watching David Goggins and some of the stuff that he did, and a thought crossed my mind. Like, I didn't know what I wanted to talk about today. I wasn't even scheduled to talk to you guys until yesterday at what, 5:30? You said, what do you want me to talk? How about tomorrow? Okay. So I was watching David Goggins, and the thought crossed my mind is, well, what if you don't have that discipline? Because the people that I coach know I give that message all the time. I'm a newly minted field hockey coach, by the way. Do you even know what field hockey is in the South? Do you know what that is? It's like hockey, but you play it on turf. And it's really big up north, and our high school needed a coach, so they told me that I was going to be a field hockey coach. So it's not just this sport that I'm engaging in. But anyway, as I was sitting there last night, I was like, I don't want to tell them baseball stuff. I want to show them something that has meant a lot to me, and maybe something that they can get a little bit out of. So I'm just guessing at your ages, but I'm sure many of you have taken a psychology class. And this video that you're going to see is one of those all-timer psychology tests, those all-time experiments. This was not the original experiment. The original experiment was done in 1972. TV has come a long way. This is the one that I'm going to show you. It's called the marshmallow test, or the marshmallow experiment. I'm going to hit play. For those that haven't seen it, enjoy it. For those that have seen it, I'll debrief you afterwards on a small plot twist that happened much later. So, spacebar. Okay, so how many had seen that, just out of curiosity? Okay, so for years, the guy that ran the experiment, his name was Walter Mischel. And he was one of the leading researchers in his day. And the discovery he made was, if you want to achieve anything in life, the ability to have delayed gratification was this one thing that you had to have. But back when he was doing the experiments, the culture of the time, the zeitgeist of the time, the way everyone thought was, each of you were born with a special ability, and it was the researcher's job to see who had that ability. So he set young people down in front of a marshmallow, and he wanted to know who had the ability to resist. And then years later, he went and he checked in on all those people that delayed gratification. And a really, really high correlation said, if you could postpone that first marshmallow, you were going to be successful. I mean, and a high correlation. And for the longest time, this is how people thought. This was how professional baseball thought. Professional baseball thought, you either have it or you don't, right? It's our job to identify the people that have it, and if they have it, we will give you a spot. And if you don't, we will not give you a spot. For years, they didn't even have minor league systems, right? That wasn't a thing, and God forbid anything like the Florida Baseball Ranch would pop up and actually grow people. And then what happened was, years later, when people started understanding dynamical systems theory, right, which Randy talks about, the task, the individual, and the environment, they said, maybe we need to go back, we need to check in on that research. Maybe we need to go back and say, wait a second, maybe there was more to this thing than they were just endowed with this incredible ability to delay gratification. Maybe there was more at play. So what they did is they went back and they ran another experiment, except this time they threw a twist on it. This time, the person conducting the experiment was either seen as trustworthy or untrustworthy. The person, when they left the room, was either trustworthy, in other words, they thought that they were going to come back, or that person that left the room was untrustworthy, and they had no idea when they were going to come back. And sure enough, at a greater correlation level, trustworthiness trumped that endowment of delayed gratification. That experiment that you see now, it's shown from an entirely different lens. It isn't so much about, do you have the ability to delay gratification? What it's now shown is that the people that you interact with on a daily basis, the people that you interact with, the environment that you interact with, have a much bigger outcome than anyone has ever realized. Okay? If you want to know why I trust Randy Sullivan, it's because Randy Sullivan is better now than he was 5 years ago. Why is he better now than he was 5 years ago? Because every day he shows up and he wants to get better. He knows that there is no such thing as there will come a day when I will know the truth. And when I know the truth, then I will impart my wisdom. That day will never come. Randy Sullivan is curious. Randy Sullivan is not afraid to say, I don't know, but if I don't know, I'll find it for you, right? And the reason I wanted to share this with you is because he said it yesterday. He wants to improve your bullshit detector. I don't know if he said those exact words. Sort of. But that's what he wants to do. Because there's going to come a time when you're not going to be around Randy Sullivan. You're not going to have access to his brain. You're not going to have access to his staff. Someone is going to ask you to do something, and they might not be as trustworthy as Randy Sullivan. And when someone's not as trustworthy as Randy Sullivan, all you have is your knowledge that he has helped. He has helped you to grow. Okay? So, I think the quality of our life is due to the quality of our relationships. I have no idea how long you're going to be here. I don't know if you're going to be here for a week, for 2 weeks, for 3 weeks, for 4 weeks. But discipline is absolutely critical. David Goggins, the message he shared yesterday, I mean, you got to do your drills with a diligence that you probably have never done before. You have to be as locked in as you could ever imagine. Because it takes what it takes. Like, it's not a mystery. The dynamical systems theory has 3 components. The individual is absolutely one of them. The environment is one of them. And then the task is another one. Okay, so I know we all have different goals. We all want to achieve different things. I told him that the reason why older athletes are easier to coach than younger athletes is because older athletes develop a voice. They develop a voice. And when he says, I want you to do this, an older athlete says, does that look right? Because it doesn't feel right. That's right? And then they figure it out. Younger athletes just absorb it and just do what they're told. It's your career. He knows it. I know it. It's your career. 20 years from now, there's only going to be one face in the mirror when you look back, right? He's got a servant's heart. He wants to help you. It's why he invests so much time on the latest research. If I have a question and I want to know what's the latest research, Randy, he'll give it to me. It might change tomorrow, but if it does, he's going to be on the front edge of that change. All right, so my message to you today was, I love David Goggins' message, but it was 1/3. It was 1/3 of success. All right, your discipline absolutely is critical. The environment in which you find yourself is critical. And then that task, being firmly aware of what it is. When he talked about the short game and the long game is to be an effective pitcher. I'm assuming you're all pitchers here listening. That's the long game. To get a lot of guys out, to be rewarded for your effort. But some of you are playing a short game of velocity, of command, of multiple pitches. Right? It's being aware of whatever the task is, diving in completely and getting after it. Okay? So I just wanted to share that, Randy, that you guys have a resource here that you can take advantage of. He doesn't know all the answers. He knows more than a whole lot of people, though. All right? And I would take advantage every chance you can get. All right? But here in a second, you're going to say go. Right? And it's time to be David Goggins-like and get after it. Okay? All right. That's what I want to share.